Hey, I'm Mike Sarkeesian.
I'm Tommy, and we're from Spineshank.
Tour. Almost at the tail end of it. We have a record called Anger Denial Acceptance, finished. Hopefully we'll be out sometime in the first quarter, like March-ish of 2012. And with a big ass, lengthy ass, never going home tour to follow.
Just finishing out this year. We did, a handful of shows last month, and we're just kind of want to do a handful more shows just to, remind everyone that we're still around and, things are going to be coming soon.
Now I can take this, everything I know, realize.
It's something I had like kind of in my head for a while, and it's actually I think the first time that we had a title of a record before ever written any songs ever in our career. So that was kind of cool, and it like in a weird way turned into this case of art imitating life.
Yeah, it's almost a loose concept, every song kind of ties together, and we didn't really set out for it to be that way, but just the songs we were writing and the frame of mind and like the way everyone was feeling, it just kind of came out that way. And so, when it all started coming together, we realized, holy shit, this song needs to be before this one, and like it just all worked out. So it's the closest thing we've ever done to a concept album, and it's It's like we had toured and toured, just toured our asses off, and there was record cycle, tour cycle, record cycle, tour cycle, and our kids started growing up, and we just started burning out, and we did Self-Destructive Pattern, and it cost us a ton of money, and it took a long time to make. And Roadrunner really pushed us to have 5 singles. We got to be the next Linkin Park, the next POD. You got to have positive lyrics, like just everything we weren't. So, we did all this. We put our heart and soul into the record, and then the record comes out, and they worked the first single for about
a week and a half.
Yeah, like a week or two, and then told us to go back and make another record. So at that point, we were already burnt, and it's like they didn't push the tour, they didn't do anything. So there was just no way in hell. So we just, and the band was fighting a lot, When you spend that much time in close quarters with someone, you're gonna fight. And Johnny was kind of going his direction, some of us are going in this direction, and it just, it just kind of fell apart. But we've all known each other for a long time. I met Johnny when he was 11 years old. So eventually, we made up and started talking just as friends, and it just made sense.
Both. They both have their pros and cons, so to speak.
I mean, big shows are cool, but like say when we did Download Festival, fucking the first line of kids is how far, like.
Yeah, like the barricade where like the kids start, there's probably like 3 car lengths, at least 2.
Yeah.
What I mean? So you're talking about a good, like 30, 40 feet between the stage and where the audience starts, and then like it's, another like 3, football fields from there on.
Yeah, it's a total disconnect at a point where, when we're used to like smaller shows when you can hear one kid yelling what song he wants to hear, and you can kind of just feed off the intensity. Well, those big shows, there'll be 5 pits going on. They're just so far back that it's like I can't even hear them, until the song's over. Then you hear a big roar, and it's like whoa,
But there's something definitely cool about playing shows like that. Yeah. I'm not gonna knock it, I mean, they're just different, It's a different kind of animal.
Well, I did it all for the money. All for the money.
I did it for the pussy.
All for the money. I was told that in this business you can make dozens of dollars, and we've been in this business for like 12 years now. We've almost made our first dozen. So, no, I mean, I don't know. It's like, for me, it was like Van Halen, Motley Crue, Ozzy, that whole era of like 80s metal. I was a young kid, and I saw the videos, and the Rat videos of Quiet Riot, and I was just drawn to it,
Pretty much what he said, yeah. I mean, Randy Rhoads is the reason I started playing guitar, and then, it was just all downhill from there, I guess.
And then, we formed bands and like we were just sucked so bad at it that we couldn't even play cock rock. So we ended up playing like bad punk rock. And then after that, you know, we discovered bands like Pantera, Slayer,
Metallica.
But you know, like just bands like that.
Sepultura.
Yeah, Sepultura and then, so I think that's where like our whole thing comes in with a mixture of those type of bands, and then you have later on you had like Foo Fighters and Nine Inch Nails or Nirvana, and it's just all those things.
Yeah, it's a combination of all that, dude. And you know, I mean, you know, you start discovering, rediscovering music as you go on, you know, and shit just, you know, like you can listen to Zeppelin and, you know, hear something that, you know, you're rediscovering it 30 years later or whatever. So I mean, I guess that's a cool thing about music. There's always something new to find about it, you know.
And then there's this whole other level of, you know, we're just a bunch of punk kids from like sort of a ghetto, and we got together and just made a bunch of music, and since then we've traveled the world. You know, we've been overseas, and people have come up to us and told us how our songs have like got them through rough times or changed their lives, and that's like not something I'd ever think what, you know, I would do to someone. And you know, it's just a really cool feeling that what those bands did to me, you know, in the early days, that we actually have that effect on some kids too.
Yeah, we've translated, you know, that kind of a emotion to someone else. So that's, I guess that probably is what makes it all worth it. All the bullshit of doing this.
And the $12.
Yeah, and the $12. I love that shit, dude. It's fun. You ever seen them?
Hilarious.
It's fun. It's you know, I mean, they have a residency at the House of Blues in LA every Monday night. It's fun as fuck. You know, you get a bunch of fucking 80s rock sluts coming out and all that shit. It's a good time. You know, it's basically a soundtrack to, I guess, our generation, and it's kind of cool that, like, you know, sometimes you get people who weren't into Motley Crue back when Motley Crue, you know, was around. You know,
the funny thing is that they're sort of making a joke about it, but they're what's missing from metal and rock today, because it's supposed to be fun. It's not just supposed to be a bunch of fat dudes with hair in their face playing as fast as they can. I mean, that has its place, but it's cool when, you know, there's a band that's just having a good time and being lighthearted about it, and if you know, at the end of your work week on a Friday night, you can go see Steel Panther, have some drinks, and see some hot chicks walking around, and you know, honestly, those guys have all been doing it for years and years, and they're fucking awesome musicians. So, you know, it's cool to see someone who's just taking it so lighthearted and bringing some fun back, and, you know, have some success.
our generation is probably the last one who was
awesome.
No. Actually, like
I thought we were going there.
We weren't brought up on internet. We weren't brought up on, you know, like the insane amount of video games and downloading and this and that and whatnot. So I think we're probably like the last people to actually have any kind of like human interaction with one another, rather than, you know, like kids just, you know, like they might as well like fuck through Facebook these days. Seriously, you know, like if you know, yeah, I probably do. I mean, I'm sure at like some point, you know, like that's why kids like don't really have social skills. I'm talking about, you know, like 8, 9, 10-year-old kids these days. They're not brought up to have any kind of, you know, interaction with other people face to face. You know, it's all like, oh yeah, you know, like it's all in type and text, and
well, I think also
just kind of fucked up.
Like musically, I think our generation may have been the last one that truly
embrace music.
Like, yeah, just like every bit. Because I remember when, you know, Volver Display of Power came out. And it wasn't quite the record, but it was still CDs and cassettes. And I'd fucking go through and I'd read everything. The liner notes, the thank yous, read all the lyrics. And, you know, you had that physical CD and you cherished it. Now it's just, oh, the new Pantera's out? Let me just download it 2 weeks before it fucking comes out. I'll have it in 15 seconds. There's no, like...
There's no hunt. There's no discovering things. You know, it's like, you know, you just like go on YouTube, hear that one song, and I mean, I guess it's just different, you know, and I understand it, but what we had, they're never gonna have.
Yeah, it sort of makes music,
and it's kind of sad,
kind of disposable now, you know. Like when Spineshank was coming up, we would get mail, like physical mail, on a piece of paper that someone wrote with a pen, and somebody traded them a cassette, and they're in fucking Bulgaria or whatever, and they heard about us, And it was like, wow, it's insane that it got that far. And now it's just instantaneous. You're all over the world. So, I mean, I guess it's cool, but I do think it cheapens
the whole process.
Yeah, the whole process. That you don't have as many hardcore fans as you used to, I think.
Bruce Lee, dude. Like you say Chuck Norris, I'm punching you.
Yeah, I have to go.
You
with
fucking
Bruce Lee.
say Chuck Norris, I'm punching you.
I have to go with Bruce Lee. Okay.
Bruce
yeah.
Lee.
You know.
Fuck. But like I'm like
don't think I chose that answer for fear of violence from you.
Yeah. Because Bruce Lee, dude. Enter the Dragon, one of the coolest movies ever. Ever.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. That was when we were on our first tour ever, and we were driving into New York City. Our first time,
and SOU.
Our first time in New York City, and there was this cool ass college station. It was like the coolest metal station.
It's still around. WSOU.
Oh, it came back, huh?
Yeah. WSOU, man.
It's based.
Station.
It's based out of a church, and you could hear fucking Slayer, Raining Blood, Hell Awaits, at any point, and like. We pulled into the city, and we just got into New York, and we're like tripping out on the bridges and everything, and we hear Stovebolt. Of all songs, it was that one, and it was just cool, man. It was like
it's a cool feeling.
Definitely like wow.
It's almost like the first time, like when you get laid. Like
it's the first time you get a blowjob.
Yeah, it's kind of like
fuck,
that.
holy shit.
Yeah,
it's above and beyond.
Like this is kind of cool, you know.
Yeah,
it's definitely a cool feeling.
And we were all together. The thing that was cool is that we were all together, so every guy in the band can say that our first, our last, our everything was all together. Breaking Bad, Dexter, Boardwalk Empire,
Walking Dead,
Sunny in
Sopranos.
Philly, Soprano. Like I'm a TV fucking nut. Like TV raised me, so I just like I get comfort out of TV.
Yeah.
Movies are a little too long for me. My attention span isn't that long. But Goodfellas,
Casino.
Yeah.
But lately I've been into like the stupidest movies, and like that's the kind of shit. Because like being in the band and just like writing this record, I just want to see the stupidest shit ever.
Tits and car crashes.
Like basically I want to see chases, car crashes, tits, hot chicks, explosions, shit like that. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see nothing else.
Can't say anything with Vin Diesel in it. I'm fucking out. Sign me out.
Like fucking not Vin Diesel. Like what was that fucking movie? Like Transformers is a perfect movie for me right now. So you don't gotta think. You just sit there and just watch tits and ass, shit blowing up. It's kind of cool.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, I'm like a huge Martin Scorsese fan, and I love that kind of shit. It's kind of what when I really want to just kind of enjoy a movie.
Stimulate your mind.
Yeah, stimulate my mind.
Mila Kunis.
Yeah, she's fucking hot.
Oh, I love Mila Kunis. I'd slit his throat right now just to fucking...
Kim Kardashian, I gotta go there. She's pretty fucking hot.
I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah, she's pretty fucking hot.
Johnny's really into Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Who's Rob? Rob's really into Darth Vader.
Fair enough.
It's
weird.
It's a wide array.
Yeah, it's weird. Greece, that for me personally, I just love the vibe over there. Beaches, food, awesome, hot chicks. Can't go wrong with that, right?
I'm pretty cool in Southern California. You have the same thing: beaches, good food, hot chicks.
All right.
And it's right there.
And it's right there.
It's right there, right next to Hollywood, right by the rainbow. No, you know what? We have a new record coming out early this year. Next year.
Early 2012.
It's called Anger, Denial, Acceptance. We have 2 songs that you can already check out on YouTube or on our Facebook page. Anger, Denial, Acceptance, the title track, and Murder, Suicide, which we will be playing tonight. Check them out and fucking friend us on Facebook and
go to www.facebook.com/Spineshank.
And if anyone knows Mila Kunis, tell her hit me up.